Welcome to Don't Everybody Leave. Say howdy to Mac King.
Howdy, I am Matt King. Welcome to Don't Everybody Leave. I'm very excited. We are again shooting in person. Everybody's here except for Jason England. He has family in town and he cannot be coerced into coming here and leaving his family, who I actually understand he hates. But I am here with all my pals, Jason excluded. There's Nick Diffatte, Michael Goudeau, Jax, Vinny Grosso. I'm Matt King. We have Pat Hazell coming out later. And hi, guys.
Hey, should we say grace like we usually do?
Yeah, we should start with a prayer.
Grace.
Michael's been doing a spot in Vinny's show downtown at Notoriety.
Yes.
In order to get the performing feedback on her. I did a show. I did a 20-minute set at a club, and then I know. Well, it was like a show business night, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I did my little spot. You guys were there. Howdy. I'm Matt King. Well, thanks.
We're in the audience.
Then we all ran over to see Michael and Vinny.
February 22nd, 2020 was the last time I wrote this. That's not a joke.
And then afterwards, we all went to dinner, and then Pat Hazell joined us, and we were out till like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
2 in the morning, just gossiping
and just sitting around in a restaurant, like it was like holy crap, this is like show business.
Yeah.
It reopened all of a
As
sudden.
the viewer, the stuff you picture us doing as Vegas showbiz people, we never do. We go home and go to bed. But we did it one night. So now we can say we do it sometime. Hey, can I put up some memorabilia?
Yeah, please.
So look at this. This is the best photo of me ever. The moment I met my childhood hero, Otis Williams from the Temptations at age 16. Look at the face I am making. You're supposed to smile in photos. He signs documents. Yeah, I'll put it up. I'll put it up. But yeah.
It looks like you have a bird in your mouth.
Yeah. I'm 16.
16 years old. Yeah, put that up there. Yeah, that was quite a night. But you've been doing it. You guys
All weekend.
All
4
weekend.
shows with Vinny. So I'm up to 40 minutes of stage time in the last 16 months.
Wow, shoot, man! I've been thinking about it. How when I do the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pieces that I have to think about.
So I don't think we talked about this.
What?
Where I'm going to be, etc.
No.
Oh, we can do that.
Hey,
It's a reveal show.
I signed a new deal. I'm moving after 20 years at the place I have been, whose name I have been instructed not to say.
Don't go where I used to do shows.
Don't go where I used to do shows. I am now opening June 22nd, Tuesday, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Same exact schedule as the prior place at Excalibur Hotel.
Congratulations.
Very, very excited and very, very nervous about doing a whole...
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is a big deal, though, man.
It's a big deal for me.
Partial
I'm really
custody.
nervous, but it's the same exact schedule, 1 and 3, Tuesday through Saturday. And
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
yeah, I think it's going
You're gonna rock it, man.
Well,
Eventually.
Eventually.
King of the cats.
I'll be so happy 2 weeks in when everything's running smoothly.
Yeah, when you're bored and don't want to go to work.
Right.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's when it gets perfect.
I feel like it's the thing people don't think about if they don't perform full time. How many shows do you think you've done in your life?
20,000?
20,000. I think it's more than that.
Okay.
Yeah. But so yeah,
10,000.
right. That place.
Oh!
Yeah, I'll bleep it. And you take a year off, and it feels weird, right? It's like
it's more than a year.
15 months,
Yeah.
and even after
Which I believe is more than a year.
because of science.
Yeah.
You start unzipping.
Oh, we didn't do
But
that.
that's. I mean, I feel like that's counterintuitive to a non-performer. 20,000 shows, and then but if you stop for your, it's still like I hope this works.
Well, usually we start the show with who died since we last saw each other. And we can put up a picture there. You guys
We
can
played
look at the
croquet last
monitor.
night. Has someone died since last
Clarence
night?
Williams III died.
Clive from Purple Rain.
Well, that's what you would know him from. Yes, he was Prince's dad in Purple Rain, but I know him as Link from the Mod Squad. That's what that picture is from. Remember Mod Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I loved that show growing up. And when Eli, our daughter, was little, Link was famous for, hey, Link, can you go man the back entrance so nobody escapes? These were like 3 mod detectives, right? They were like heavy guys, undercover cops. And so the Mod Squad. And so they go, hey, Link, can you go monitor the back entrance so nobody leaves that way? And he would go, solid.
He's the coolest guy in the planet.
Yeah, he was really cool.
Yeah.
And so when Eli was little, that's what we taught her to say anytime anybody asked her a question. She would go, solid.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
So,
People who don't think raising children is fun.
yeah. Pat Hazell, he's got 1,000 credits, and we'll ask him about all of them. But I've known him since we were about probably 22 years old. So like 12.
Is this the grand entrance?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Hazell.
Hey, everyone.
So you know how when somebody kisses you and on the cheek or something, like your grandmother or something, you go like this, and she says, "Don't wipe that off." You just walked past and pet the dog, and the dog went like this. Can we say what we call the dog sometimes?
Yeah.
Because the dog has a tendency to put her nose in your crotch, obviously, and so I've always called her a cervix dog.
Can you get a vest and take her on a
And
flight?
I call it my emotional support dog for the same reason.
Right.
So when they say, don't have you pet the cervix dog.
Right.
Like for our audience, would you say comedy magician? Or would you
I
say-
wouldn't anymore. I mean, I started out in magic.
Yeah, that's what we.
And I'm a dabbler. Like, I wouldn't in any way call myself a juggler to Michael Goudeau, right? I wouldn't. No, I mean, I don't.
That's because I'm not either, right?
You wouldn't understand what I'm referring to. No, I was always a little okay at everything, including magic, right? I used comedy to defend my bad magic, right? Like when I was a kid, I would.
Yeah, but you're not like Amazing Jonathan, for instance, who can't do any magic.
So he's not going to come on the show. Jonathan, please come on the show.
No, you don't do any of that in public, right? I mean,
Not in public.
no, well, Lord, you did a nice trick for my producer last night in the backyard.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
By the way, it was very fun to do that because I haven't done it in a long time. I have a question. Can I bring up a topic?
Please.
Well, it has to do
This
with
is neither the time nor the place.
no topics. No topics. No, it has to do with early promo pictures
Oh, Lord.
because that feels like something he can edit in.
Okay.
People
Yeah,
provide them.
yeah.
But did you guys do what was like one of the weirder or funnier or like promo pictures when you start out in variety? Oftentimes, like I was putting pictures, I couldn't even do the trick. I was, I could stage the picture, but it was never going to be my show. Like I was in high school and I did a floating lady a trick for the picture, which I only convinced this girl who I thought was really good looking after school on the school auditorium stage. Like this was a fake date for me.
How old were you?
I was a senior in high school, so
18.
Oh, Lord.
yeah.
17 or 18.
But I had convinced her it was fine and she was willing to do it. I didn't have any apparatus to do it with. Like I didn't have a suspension or anything. So I had behind the curtain were sawhorse and some 2x4 sticking out and a football player sitting on the behind the curtain. She was just like, and the picture looks great, and I'm in some kind of
You can really see
rayon
your
chair.
chair.
And I think about it, I was like, well, first of all, if people hired me, I would never do the trick. Wouldn't
You got to get that football player to come with you.
Right. A lot of people had to be involved. So that made me think what kind of pictures or, and of course I had this obligatory hypnotic one at one point.
Yeah.
Did you?
We've shown a few of yours, but we should talk about it anyway because showing them again is great.
I'm trying to. I mean, I had one that was nude. I'm like, I don't know.
With a suitcase in front of you or a
a
banjo or what?
Viking helmet.
Oh goodness! Do we still have it?
I might be able to.
If you don't, we're gonna just retake it.
Yeah,
Of
right.
course, a Viking
not
helmet
kidding.
makes sense for you. It would have to be something, a big,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
a lot,
Oh,
of,
yeah.
a lot of depth.
Yeah.
Not one of those cheap little plastic ones from a kid's store.
Yeah.
It has to be a real Viking.
Right. No, it had lots of volume.
And fur. I mean, I had the classic thing. I'm so embarrassed about. I had fedora and 2 fans of cards, which I think all of us may have taken that photo.
I don't believe all of us had fun.
Oh, we have some good ones of Vinny though.
You need some fanning?
No, Vinny's floating a dove, which is a good magic trick unless you remember that doves can fly.
Is it on its back?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
They don't fly upside down that often. You know?
That's true. That's true. You made it fly while it's uncomfortable, which is pretty
It's
cool.
a still photo. It might have just been falling past him.
That's true.
Great capture.
dead.
Look at that bird.
It's like, all right,
Drop
I will
it
hold
down.
it here and drop it and then do that. Try to catch it right here.
I have actually one of my promo photos from when I work with a partner is that, very close to that. He's riding a 6-foot-tall unicycle holding the back of my jacket, and I'm jumping up. And so it looks like he's carrying
It looks
me.
like you're like,
Oh, that's
like
cool.
this,
Yeah,
right?
it turned out pretty good. And it was, well before Photoshop, so.
Yeah, you had to do.
You
You
know,
had to
jump
really
for
do
40
it.
minutes,
Yeah.
taking 175
It's a practical
photos.
effect.
Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of magicians that took.
That's also when it's filmed, so you're actually
Yeah,
wasting
it's costing
a shot.
money every jump.
Yeah, you gotta hit it in a certain amount of time.
And you have no idea if you hit it.
Nope.
Just
That's right. That's true. You're not unless you're doing Polaroids. You don't go. Well, I guess we got it.
You also one of my. I think it's a promo photo. I think you guys used it. We can cut this out if you want to talk about it. But
You say it a lot.
yeah,
Cutting things out.
He likes
You
cutting
love
things
cutting
out.
out.
yeah. It's easier
Well,
than
there's
adding
very
things in.
little that's really funny.
Right. What if we just did an outtake reel of all
We
him
can-
saying, "I'm going to cut
I'm
this
gonna
out."
cut that out.
Not the stuff you're cutting out. Just him.
Just
saying,
him saying,
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to cut this out.
Your partner, when you guys did a duo juggling act, got injured hang gliding.
Yeah.
And then had to get surgery and these crazy big stitches.
Yeah.
What is that photo of the two of you guys?
Oh, we do have a photo backstage at the Follies where I've got a staple gun on. He's already got a huge scar and staples all in.
Yeah, like you stapling them back together. It's fantastic.
Did you ever do a 3-handed picture kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like I did a thing like that, but I told the photographer it'd be kind of fun if I'm fanning cards and another hand is picking the card or whatever. Kind of
Right,
thing.
yeah.
You know, inspired by many other 3-handed pictures. But whoever was there, the other person was like some big ass dude with big, like it wasn't. I didn't bring somebody. I was
Andre the Giant.
Gorill's arm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, that's a funny idea, though, for just have a little baby's arm coming
Yeah.
Skeletor.
out of my fly.
Yeah, it's making it
Yeah,
as
okay,
possible.
cut that out.
So he used
Hide
to
with the Vikings helmet.
he used to pray that he'd have the worst show ever and then go out on stage.
I heard that. And
What?
you know what? It seems like it worked a few times.
It does.
Your prayers were answered.
He's been here this weekend.
Yeah.
No, I don't think of you. I saw you in the days of the Lance shows, and I thought it was unbelievable. Like I long remember the openings and the middles of the.
So what he's asking is, what happened?
No, I'm not asking it. I'm thinking it. You mind reading? Oh, I forgot who I'm with.
We're going to cut that out.
Yeah.
He's going to edit it.
Oh, we're not.
So let's see. We'll get to your podcast, but film made me think of you.
Oh yeah.
What have you been doing?
Are
Are you allowed to say?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been working. I'm working on a book for
For the Manhattan Project.
For, yeah.
He's not allowed
Do
to
some
say.
research.
I've been working on a magic
Getting
book.
nuclear weapons for Texas.
It's called Microwave Cooking for One. I'm running a magic book with Squash Publishing, and for some reason, Brett Loudermilk and I got a bug up our ass to do all the photos on medium format film, which we shot like 3 of the 140 photos and just went, oh, what the fuck are we doing?
But you went ahead and did all
40 hours later. Yeah,
140 is the total you need at the end. So you
And
took
that's-
more than 140.
Ish, yeah. And then we would go, oh God, what if the film doesn't work? We got to shoot, maybe we'll shoot it all twice and shoot it digitally too, alongside, which would have been twice as, I mean, it's insane.
But sorry, I don't even know
Now,
how.
what was the tone or texture that made you pick that?
So there's illustrations in the book that are done by a great artist called named Brandon James, who does like mid-century like beatnik art that I love, and he's done posters for me and other stuff. And so he did like a title page trick for every trick and essay, which is like 25 throughout the book. And so we thought, wouldn't it be crazy if we could do photos on a camera from that era that would have that. It's
medium.
It's just between small and then there's a
And
really
large.
big one.
Yeah, I get what medium means. That's a word.
Let me just talk to you in terms of pizzas. Okay? I know you're not used to normal things, but when you think about a pizza,
It's not quite personal. It's like
it's something you might be able to eat yourself if you're really hungry.
But, so like there's 35 millimeters,
This is big.
and that's small.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much.
So
yeah.
medium is bigger than that.
It's pretty big. And so we
And
And
when you're
then the
taking
film
these
for 8x10s
photos,
is really big, right?
yeah.
Hey, Mac, you ever read Goldilocks?
so it's just right.
It's got that third bowl of parts.
Got it. So if you're taking these film photos, there's not a digital thing too, right?
You
You're
can't
not looking.
see anything.
You can't see anything, so
So
you're not
you
getting like a
gotta-
little tiny little feedback.
Is the guy taking the picture under a hood?
Right.
With,
Yeah, right.
with a big light.
Yeah.
140 explosions.
Comes out all.
Reload the gunpowder.
Yeah.
It's
Right?
like-
140 pictures later.
It was ridiculous because it'd be like we set up the lights for 20 minutes and then he'd hold the camera and go, I think we got it. And he's like, okay, now I'm gonna go sit where you're going. Come right here. Like, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Well,
I don't know
great.
what we thought we were doing. But
Well, I'm sure that everyone who reads it will be able to tell.
Well, it won't be magicians. It'll be people that are interested in mid-size photography. I do have a piece of merch for you, for your illustrator that you can. Yeah, I was thinking last night. I spooned with Nick Diffatte, right? Like, and then they, right? Or do you have something like that?
I don't.
I spooned with Nick. Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
Yes.
I think we
Yes.
Yeah.
We all,
Yeah.
yeah.
We are we counting last night?
Well, we can put that picture up of all of us in my bed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I might hold the title of Big Little Spoon with Nick Diffatte. Everyone else has been Big
Yeah, you're like one of those caviar spoons.
Nick, you can make a flip book too.
We get a I'm dainty.
Yeah, you are dainty.
I'm dainty.
Yeah.
I did an entire
You're like
special.
you're like a caviar spoon. Vinny's like a Coke spoon.
Yeah.
He's got burn marks on him.
And it works so that Max at the end, he's the big ladle.
I'm the fucking ladle.
Go see I'm the fucking ladle. Mac King.
Max
King is the
Salad.
fucking ladle. Go see the family-friendly Mac King Comedy Magic Show at the Excalibur, Las Vegas.
Starting June 22nd, tickets on sale now.
In the
The Excalibur has a new king.
I mean,
and Jester.
Castle has a new king.
What showroom are you in? What shows are in that room?
Well, it is called the Thunderland.
Thunderland.
Not the Thunderland, just Thunderland.
Because the other show in there is
Thunder from Down Under.
Right. That's the pronoun, or the, what do they call it? What's under? You guys
adjective.
No,
You like how we sat here and let that die? Didn't help you at all.
No, but you can cut that out. Didn't you say you were going to cut that out?
Yeah.
Not when you screw up.
No. Just make it look like we're super funny.
Thunder and unders?
With thunders and unders. More laughs, less abs. Less abs, more laughs. I don't know which one.
Which one is funny? Neither.
Okay, good.
That was my idea. I'm only a cop.
So you're doing a podcast called Creativity in Captivity. You were telling me somebody couldn't say that.
My mom.
Oh, your mom.
Who listened to it. First of all, my mom has no technology, and she's famous for misnaming movie titles and stuff. You may know that. Those stories I tell.
I didn't
about
know
her.
we had the same mom. I didn't know.
Yeah,
we
so
were
I think
talking
everyone
about
has the mom who says, I'm going to go see fried potatoes, fried potatoes, fried tomatoes, fresh sliced, like, she can say anything but the name of the movie. So what do you think Pet Seminary is about?
Are you going to be
that
on?
one's a porn, I believe.
Yeah.
That's the porn.
So she proudly told me, it was her birthday yesterday, and I called, she says, your brother turned it on, and I listened to both of your podcasts. Okay, thank you so much. But, yeah. No, I'll tell you what, it's an interesting medium. It's weird when you have a podcast because all of your stories then include the word podcast. Like on my podcast, like you're always trying to get people to listen to.
Sure, yeah.
And it's nice for you to point out an alternate definition for medium. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. I'm on a medium-sized podcast.
Medium format.
It's not very
Do you think I could eat your podcast by myself?
Because it's medium.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. I don't know. I
no.
think we should cut that
I'm
out.
so glad you're here. I do want to hear, what is the podcast?
I talk to just mediums.
All
Centuries, yeah.
Medium.
Right. I bring them back in a seance situation when we talk. Only your audience will understand a medium reference to that, a different medium.
Jacob will put up some definition.
Mm-hmm.
According to Webster,
Go ahead.
all the definitions of medium.
And then I'll cut them out. Go ahead.
No, the pandemic, as you might have heard, stopped the shows we were doing.
I heard
stopped the
something about
gatherings,
that, yeah.
getting humans together, and all that. But it occurred to me if I wasn't working, then other people weren't working, and then I could
Because you produce shows.
I produce shows and I direct commercials and I do things, and it was kind of frustrating. And I thought that my favorite part of all this is developing the content with other creators and creative people. And I thought, oh, they're not working. Maybe they want to talk about their process. So I was able to talk to chief creative officers of companies and film places and directors. And then I thought, well, I like the idea of different mediums. So cellist, ventriloquist, like picking a different discipline each time. And that was sort of where the idea was born. And we got some big level names. So that once we had
Yo-Yo Mom.
we got Yo-Yo Ma's mom. I'm talking about the mother of invention.
And she calls it a violin because moms don't know what anything's called.
No, I mean, right?
She calls him
The medium violin.
She calls him Pat.
Yeah, she calls him Duncan. Yo-Yo.
That's as close as Yo-Yo she.
The first person I did, the first episode was with Pete Docter, who was the chief creative officer of Pixar, and he wrote Up and Inside Out and Soul and all of that. And, you know, we talked in the top of the year, and by the time we put it on, he had won a third Oscar. So sort of like free coattail ride on the guest.
That's what we're counting on.
This podcast, you better all sign up.
He knows someone who won an Oscar.
Right. Friend of my friends.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your degree to Oscar winner? You must be 0.
No, you've got to have
that's what I'm
Oscar
saying.
winners around you.
Yeah, I think I know some Oscar. I don't care. You know, I don't.
I know an EGOT.
You do?
Who?
You know an EGOT. An EGOT is someone that has an Emmy, Grammy,
No,
Oscar,
do I
Antonio.
know
Who's that?
those? I don't know. So.
Oh, yeah, he knows Mel Brooks.
He's close to 2.
Oh yeah, so yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a double EGOT?
He's won, I forget which award, but he's won.
I did talk to Mel Brooks' buddy, George Shapiro. Do you know George? He's later in one of the episodes, and George represented Andy Kaufman, Jerry Seinfeld, Carl Reiner. He was the manager for all these guys. And he tells Andy Kaufman stories that are awesome, like that are hilarious, about him having a contract that required, Tony Clifton, his altered character that he did.
Yeah.
In order to extend his contract on Taxi, Tony Clifton had to have appearances on the show or he could walk, right? He came as Tony Clifton to the set, and he had women of the night on each arm, and he said it like he created complete havoc that drove everybody crazy at the show. Yeah. And they couldn't really fire him, otherwise Andy would leave, even though he wasn't there. So that kind of stuff, those antics were like famously up Andy's sleeve. So, but I think one of the most interesting things about having these diverse guests on the show was just sort of the improvisational nature of having a cellist on, and when she film scores things, and I said, "Oh, you play live? You loop this music to the scenes?" And she said, "Yeah, I just translate it emotionally." So I go, "Oh, what if I tell a story and you play the cello?" Right? Yeah. And so I would set up a scenario, somebody grieving by a graveside, and she do that. And then I would say, "Okay, Christmas morning, and kids are going to open their present and anticipate." She do, and it was 7 different, and I was like, wow, this is, like that was really a fun
it's unbelievable.
kind of discovery within that. But it's good. And then we got a few of our magic cohorts. Let's see, I've talked to Chris Kenner about executive producing the David Copperfield show. And a couple others. Jay Johnson, the ventriloquist, was really fascinating.
Jay's coming to town to that little room that you and I did.
Yes,
a couple months ago.
That's known as the very hard room to get booked in, and
Right.
only handsome people.
Only
The exclusive black tie room.
Jay Johnson.
When we did that, I think that was for both of us our first time back.
Yeah.
Post-pandemic,
Yeah.
Yeah. And just, somebody said earlier, I think you said after you do 20,000 shows, how could it not be there?
Yeah.
It's just you're in a new environment, stuff's in the wrong pocket, you forget it. I forgot punchline.
Right.
Yeah, you forgot punchlines. I mean, but that's an amazing story to me. I'm in the back, you're on, and you're telling some story that you've told 20,000 times.
Easily,
literally. And
The biggest laugh, by the way, when your punchline is not the thing you forget. That's your insurance policy out.
Yeah.
And I led right up to the moment.
yeah, and then you're like, and then the sound guy.
Who had heard me the last 2 nights says, "Do you mean this?" And then everyone laughs, and I go, "That's the one."
Oh, it's fantastic.
So you forgot. It isn't that you forgot the punchline because you've been off for 15 months. You forgot the punchline after you said the punchline 2 nights in a row.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, it just wasn't muscle memory or
Yeah.
something. And also, I'm just sort of looking at you're in a new room. I'm making jokes about it. It was kind of this huge chandeliers in this little thing with teeny little.
Yeah.
I think I referred to it as Liberace's powder room or something. We were playing it or something. But you kind of get off on another thing, and so the stuff there's no connective tissue.
I felt like the first night back at Vinny's, like the show was going faster than me. You know what I mean? So I was behind the show the whole time. And normally you're on top of it and ahead of it, and
You're driving the
buttons.
bus.
But boy, this time I felt like I was
you
being
got that.
dragged, and I hope I can remember.
No,
what I was
but that's
supposed
a really good analogy because I often, when you're really in the moment and you kind of get the feel, you're not only ahead of it. You're like, I got a grocery shop. You got
You're
stuff
right.
You got that
You
other
got
voice.
breathing room, yeah.
These two voices going on in their head in addition to what you're saying.
Should I not say that right
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
No, I
yeah.
bet I can pull that off.
Yeah.
You got all that breathing room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's for dinner? Right.
How long till I eat?
that voice killed me the other night when the story that you were telling, because I had so many things going wrong, and I knew Mac and Jacob and Nick and louder people in the audience, and that voice in my head was saying, "What jokes are they saying about me?" Like I was struggling to do something, and I'm like, "Oh, they're all talking about how is he going to pull that one out?"
Well, there's 2 important points on that. One is that we weren't making jokes about you in the audience. And the second point is that last thing I said is not true.
Right.
I think that one voice in the head of all performers that's the worst one is on the day you're going to tape your show. Like you're thinking about everything that you never think about, right? If you normally do the show, you're go, "Oh, my hair is long." Like you automatically screw up your taping because you're worried about the taping. Like the taping is, oh, this is so important. I want to be sure the audience is like, and they're like, "Hey."
Right, because because you do so many shows otherwise, right? And it's like, okay, that one wasn't ideal, but it was good. Tomorrow there's another opportunity, but this is the permanent record, right? It's
Yeah.
where you're,
Why can't the best volunteers be here this day?
You know what I think? When people heckle, at this point, I think, when I look at a video of my act that is 3 years old, I think, God, that was awful. So when somebody's heckling, I think, you're a time traveler. Because in 3 years, I'm going to agree with you that this show sucked. Right now, I am killing it, and it's great. 3 years from now, I'm going to go, yeah, he was right, wasn't he?
But aren't those, if you look back archivally, the something where something different happened?
No, yeah.
I don't mean like a heckler that is nasty. But when you respond to somebody in the moment,
No, I love that.
That's the best.
That's the best.
Like I remember being at the improvisation in Irvine, and they have a big sign in the back that says, improvisation, which everyone's seeing, and below that one it said comedy showcase and restaurant. And it was behind me every show, whatever.
Right.
And I don't know what I was talking about, but one guy was kind of, I was making fun of the Four Corners, the place in the U.S. where Colorado, Utah, Missouri, and Vermont are like wedged together. So I say that.
Yeah, it's probably Vermont.
Yeah. So the thing is, he goes to correct me like. So I go, it's a comedy show, and I point over my shoulder, now seeing the words comedy and show right there, right?
Yeah.
So I go, it's a comedy show, and then it said showcase. So I was like, case you didn't know, and I put it at the case, right?
Right.
And everyone laughed at that. So now breathing room, as we talked about, right? So I see below it, restaurant. I go, the rest are enjoying it, you aren't.
Wow.
I mean, it was like, I'm like, I have to take this sign with me. And like going back, anytime I was like, oh, I can't wait to go back.
Now we're all
And,
memes
yeah,
over
and that's
there.
right, yeah. And you have to carry a guy
Yeah,
to
I
say,
had that guy.
you suck.
Nice shirt.
No, but you know rooms like that. There's something weird about it, or a town like that where they have a special food or a special something, and you've got to open with it. You got to.
Yeah.
The worst heckler I ever had, I just told the truth to. I just said, explain what the show was. I said, I can be reasonably funny responding to the stuff that you're saying, but I have this show that I wrote. It's really probably way more funny, and it's actually better. So if you stop, I can do that show, and that's better for these people. And he went, okay. It solved it. It wasn't funny for the audience, but it got him to stop talking.
It turns out you're a diplomat.
Yeah. That's the comedy show embassy.
Well, you mentioned earlier your worst show. So I have to say that one time with a heckler, I was playing in Winnipeg. I don't know if we played this thing. It was cold. It was like the coldest days in February. It was just brutal. And in some kind of Viscount Gort hotel, like an off-brand hotel.
With Murray? With the guy named Murray?
Maybe. I don't know. Did you play it?
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Well, no. So there was like an adjoining lounge where they had some singers or whatever. Then we did this comedy show, and I just remember that there was these two women that were kind of in the front, but not near each other. They were like 4 or 5 apart, leaning and talking really loud. And I watched every act before me. I was like, I don't know if I can take this, And I'm not a guy that really gets controversial with the audience. So I kind of put up with it a little bit. Then I'm looking back at the bouncer guy like, anybody? Nothing. So I go, listen, I'm going to just take a moment to say that I want to buy your drinks and your tickets, and I want to have you leave. Like, I'll pay for everything. That's, I think, how we might want to proceed, right? And I was just like, I've got to do 45 more minutes, and this is 5 minutes in, and I can't.
Yeah.
And I go, and they go, well, what do you think? You're not. And I was like, I'm just saying that everybody else did pay for this too. So they do. They escort them out. And I said, I literally do want to refund their money. And everyone sort of cheers. And I go, and I do the show.
Yeah, but I mean, you're racing, right?
You're racing, and you also think I'm a giant jerk.
Right. No,
restarting
I've done almost exactly that.
Well, you know what's funny is the audience doesn't have the same perception of it that you do. Your hearing becomes superhuman, and they say, "God, I hate this guy." You go, "Stop that show! What do you mean you hate me?" And no one heard it but you.
Right.
And I'm gonna kill you. And then everybody goes, "Why is he so mad? That one lady."
If you do it to somebody 3/4 way back, everybody gets it. When you do it to the front row,
Yeah.
you go,
Because
just
that
stop with
only
them.
travels to you.
Right. They just have their program.
Yeah.
I put the program down. Put it down.
Yeah.
So here's why it turned out so bad. That wasn't terrible. The audience enjoyed the show. I'm flying out of Canada the next day. And you wouldn't believe it if it was in a movie.
Oh no!
Going up through with my luggage, I've got Mike Caveney's hangers. I got like all this, everything. I've got a vent doll with no head on it, right? All this stuff that were all on the stage. Those whatever. I get to the customs. One of the two ladies is one of the customs. And now I'm on totally on her turf, and she's like, let's look at everything in that guy's. I go, you know what's in there. I'm not acting the way she acted.
You don't know what the last 40 minutes of shit is.
They totally took me into another room. They went through all my stuff. I missed my flight. Like I had to catch a flight 3 hours later, and she was like, "I'm going to beat this bastard. I'm going to win this fight." She was sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought they were just going to be on your flight. You had to buy their tickets.
No.
Stay here.
Yeah.
Another night. I'll buy a later flight.
So you're saying all Canadians are not nice?
I didn't say all. No, all Canadian.
No,
They
they
did
were
a very
flying
nice.
back to the U.S. Oh no, she was
Russian.
Yeah.
What was your thing that was almost exactly
Not
like that?
not nearly as good as that. Once we got to the end, the person I
Well, we
asked
could.
to be
Here's
kicked
the.
out
He
was.
can recut it.
Oh, I'll be first.
Yeah,
yeah.
Close? Okay, all right, good, very good. A lot of work. I was at the Funny Bone in
St. Louis, Westport.
No, Davenport. And I believe Mark Johnson owned it, whichever one that is. Hi, Mark.
The Davenport one,
The Davenport.
where they had you sleep on a Davenport. Remember?
Right, that was all. Yeah, that's why they called it that. It wasn't. It was located in Peoria, but they called it the Davenport Funny Bone because of where you slept. And so, early on, this guy just would not shut up, and I had this bit where what I would do is if somebody was vocal and everybody could hear, I would say, I have a little gift for you, and I would take out a Fig Newton and I would toss it to him. And it would get kind of a little weird chuckle. But then, if this was early on in the show, then later I unzip my fly as part of the trick, and I take out a Fig Newton. And I say, did you eat that other one? And so, ha, right? And then I throw that one to him. And if the guy still won't fucking shut up, I take out another Fig Newton and I go out to him. And in those days, I wasn't wearing a mic. I was just using the mic on the stand. And I would go out to him and hand it to him in person and lean down and say, if you don't shut up, this next one goes up your ass.
For all the viewers who thought Matt King is one of the sweetest, most loveliest acts.
You can catch him at the Excalibur, June 20th.
Yeah.
I'm giving him the gift, right?
Right.
But I say
A
that
rectal
to him.
Newton.
A rectal Newton. So he still won't shut up.
Where do you go after you've done the up the ass?
Right. Yeah. Well, the audience, he's the only one who
I know,
hears
I
the
know,
audience
I know.
up the Fig Newton up the ass. But so I say, so I go out, and this guy's a bigger guy than me, and I grab him.
Ooh, this is not going to go well.
And I start dragging him out into the lobby. I'm like,
So you're doing the show.
I'm in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
and I'm like, where the fuck is the doorman?
Yeah, where are the bouncers? Yeah.
I mean,
It is
they're
the
not
bouncer.
really bouncers.
No.
The guy you're dragging is the bouncer.
Right.
So, but I mean, the audience is cheering, right? I'm pulling this guy, and I get into the lobby. Mark Johnson is out in the lobby, and I say, Mark, I'm screaming so that everybody can hear because I don't have the mic. Maybe I took the mic with me. It was a wireless. I might have taken the mic
As a
with
weapon in case you needed it?
me. And I said, Mark, this guy needs to. I'll pay. I said I'll pay for this guy's ticket, but you got to kick him out. And they come back in. Yeah. But it could easily, as you all know,
Oh, you could have been
go the
tackled
other way.
and- yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, that guy
Oh
could.
no, but the crowd could have.
The crowd could have turned. That guy could have punched me. Who knows?
Just for us, can you change the end of the story to where you do get hit?
Yes.
Well, you know the famous El Cabal.
Oh yeah.
Well, the guy
I
who-
don't know the story.
Yeah. No.
This guy was in Oklahoma somewhere. I remember seeing the videotape. There was a
Yeah.
VHS
It's
tape
still online.
that. Well, it's
Yeah.
online now. Right?
Yeah.
At the time, you had to see it in the back room
Yeah.
of the Comedy Magic
Yeah.
Club. And they had,
Right.
everybody got ushered in one.
Yeah,
of
Along
Gary
with the South
Blackwell
Park.
would say, "Hey, you guys all seen this?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Along with South Park and Pinky the Cat. That was your evening's entertainment.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
So the
see
guy
videos.
he was a guitar comic, and the audience guy was heckling him. So there was a little bit
Have
of
you
a
not seen
change.
this?
No.
Oh, you're
Oh
gonna
my God!
So the guy from the stage sort of comes forward. This guy takes his guitar off, wham, like hits him with the guitar, which sort of just goes off camera.
Yeah, you don't really see him hit him. It's off camera.
Hey, but you hear it.
It's perfectly shot.
Yeah. You hear the sound of it, reverberating thing, and then he comes back, and the case of the thing is all busted
Yeah, the
out.
back of the guitar is
You can't
hanging
even-
off.
There's nothing to play. And the audience, as you said, could have, whatever, it went bad. The audience was like,
Yeah.
even though the guy was not a good heckler or whatever, they turned on the performance. He's like, come on. He was coming at me. He had it coming. Like, he's like,
And then the famous voice is woman in the back. You can hear her go, "No, that was unnecessary."
So, and I think, doesn't he say, like, get up here, motherfucker, or something?
Yeah, no, he
Oh,
said,
yeah,
right
he does.
before he hits him.
get on up here, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah,
well,
because he's like,
that's
well,
it.
you know.
Yeah, it's. I bet we can find it for you.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't say he does some heckler line.
Yeah.
Right.
And the guy, so
I'm
it's not
coming
like
on
I
board.
don't come down to the bus station and knock the dick out of your mouth when you're wearing something like that.
Yeah.
And you can see on his face, you can register
Uh-oh.
that the guy is coming at him. Right?
Yeah.
And he said, get on up here, motherfucker. And the audience is going ape shit, right? Wow, yeah, fantastic. And then, ka-shang, and it's dead silence. It's one of the most.
And I don't know if it was, but it's called El Kabong because of the sound of
Well,
the
no,
guitar.
that's a cartoon.
Because of El Caban, the cartoon. You don't remember that?
Oh, I didn't.
Quick draw McGraw. Quick draw McGraw.
I
called El
thought it
Kabong.
was the sound of the guitar
No,
hitting the
it was-
guitar.
That is,
Yeah.
but it was the
It was,
predecessor.
that was like Quick Draw McGraw's secret identity, right? El Caban, he put on a little mask.
Yeah. Oh, I got some photos to insert. Baba Louie and
Baba Louie.
That leads into asking you what your favorite films are, which is something we try and do with everybody that comes
My
on.
favorite films.
Ones that are most important to you or shaped you as an artist.
Oh, shaped me as an artist. It's funny. I do have a sentimental side of my movie watching. So some of those.
It's the Hallmark
Terms
ones.
of endearment?
No.
Like Steel Magnolias.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I watch that. Yeah.
The Traveling Pants of the Yaha Sisterhood, all of those.
Yeah.
That whole series. No, Frank Capra movies, things that were,
Oh, yeah.
and where I know they had been around, but my friends were watching black and white movies. I love Double Indemnity.
He showed me Double Indemnity.
Yeah,
My face
Praise
melted
it.
off.
Yeah.
film noir stuff. What was the one with Clark Gable? It Happened One Night.
Oh, we just
He-
watched.
he showed me it happened one
I just
night.
showed him that too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's
my gosh.
the- who's the-
You should stay one more night. We should have a big movie night.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I think those kind of movies to me shape my storytelling sense. And when I say sentimental, the stakes were, the way today every movie's so dystopic that everyone
Yeah,
kept
the
killing
fate
each
of
other.
humanity depends upon our hero,
Right.
right? That's what it is now.
Yeah.
And that was just like, hey, we got to get across the country to get.
Right, or a better man, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Or have Thanksgiving with my family.
Yeah.
Planes, trains, and
Right.
automobiles.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. I think that there's sort of I don't know who said it, but somebody, you can put it on when you find out. But it's like, well, don't write about man, write about a man, right? That's sort of a
Oh, Neil Armstrong, I think. Was,
close.
But the microphone dropped out on A.
Right. No, it's really. I think people can identify when a central character has a struggle. To me, the hardest kind of writing of that is when it's man against himself. Right? You can do man against man in a Rocky type movie. You can do Save the Camp where it's against the establishment. Those kind of things. But when somebody has to figure out why they hate themselves, it's hard to write that kind of scene. So I don't know.
that's kind of what Moby Dick is, right? He's not really.
But
fighting
that's what Mr. Incredible is. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
a lot of Pixar movies are. How do I overcome this problem within myself?
Right.
That's what the movie Soul is, which is a beautiful movie. He's just
Very good.
figure out how to follow his dreams.
Let's just talk about Pete Doctor all the time.
But he's deserving of his success.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
No, he's really a cool guy. There are good.
we
movies.
asked him if we got you.
He said to me, ever since I
sent my
did your podcast, everybody wants me on.
Yeah.
We had a famous thing that we did. We went to a lot of movies, but Christmas night we
This
would
your
always
family? Or
my
friends?
friends.
Okay.
But our thing was had to sneak in. So we had to. That was our Christmas present to ourselves.
So was it like one guy buys a ticket, that kind of thing? And then you-
I'll tell you, we had a million methods. Different people had different methods, right? We had a guy that used to, whenever we go to the theater, he would go in and get an application for a job, and then while he was in there, he
push
would
the exit door.
He would go right, but when they were really crowded on Christmas night, people would be coming out. We'd be walking in backwards, like slowly.
Wow.
There was always some method.
Did you ever do one of those really long trench coats with like 3?
Never did that. We also, this is a fun game that people might enjoy. We used to do a game called Hey Mike, and you know, it's theater. The theater is there with the screen waiting for the movie and nothing's happening, right? Like you kind of want to get down there and put on a little show, right? So we used to trade off being Mike. But the thing is, Mike was the guy who would get popcorn and a soda and something, and the rest of us go sit, and then whoever Mike is would come in and start looking for us. But he was busy with his popcorn and his whatever. And so, hey, Mike! And then he'd look up and he'd try to, you know, and then he'd start down the aisle and hey, Mike! And the audience, now this tension is growing, right? And then he would come and he would sit someone entirely different, right?
Then where the Hey Mike was coming
Yeah.
from. Yeah.
And then somebody would go, hey, Mike! And then he would stand up, my name's not Mike! And then he would sit back. Like it wasn't even somebody with us, right? But the crowd would just roar, right? And we did a baseball game, we do it, but in movie theaters, it was sort of like, oh, I get to be Mike. Can I please?
You were destined to be in showbiz, man.
Yeah. Well, we thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
I remember hiding in the car to a drive-in.
Yeah. My friend Pete Conant on a pickup, because there was no trunk in the pickup.
Yeah.
He got out of the thing and he would get on the passenger side door and hold the handle, put his feet up on it until he got through the
Profile. He was invisible. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So we were, that was our main gig, was getting into the movies for free.
Hey Nick, let's talk about your crimes.
Wow.
You got nothing? You just ethical?
No, nothing crazy.
I don't know if any of it's a crime, but
I got a ticket for jaywalking last year.
You did?
Yeah.
that's
Where?
humiliating.
Yes.
Jaywalking ticket?
Vegas for $92. Because I started crossing.
Did you punch the cop once he
And
stopped you?
I punched the motherfucker. I got halfway across the street, and then the light changed, or the signal changed to don't walk, and then the motorcycle cop comes in because he was at the other intersection, and he ran up the little rock hill, followed me up, and I was like, he's getting very close. This is unnerving with the siren on. Followed me into a Walgreens parking lot, and then he was like, listen, I just have to give you this because I saw it. And I was like, wow. That's the worst thing.
I have
And we
to.
really
I have to.
Yeah, I have to do this.
He got on his thing, loudspeaker. Slow down, step out of the shoes.
What was it?
I got one when I was a little kid.
A jaywalking ticket?
Yeah, like
By
13
yourself?
years old. No, me and a friend of mine ran. We did the crime.
Yeah, where?
We were in Los Angeles. We were down in Los Angeles to go to Disneyland and at his friend's, my friend's like grandparents' house, and we ran across the street, and the cop came and gave us both jaywalking tickets at 13. We took them back to the house, and we got these jaywalking tickets, and my friend's dad just tore them up and threw them away. And then 8 years later, I got a ticket for driving without a license or something, something stupid. And when I went into the courtroom, they said, "Seems like you have some prior problem here. I don't know if we can." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, did you get a jaywalking ticket when you were 13?
Yeah, exactly. As a teenager, you walked horizontally.
They actually let me off on both of them because they said, "Well, the fine is this," and I said, "Well, I don't really have any money." And they said, "Well, your mom can." I said, "I don't think that's right. I will do community service. My mom should not pay for what I did." And they went, "No, you can go."
Oh, because you said
That
that.
was, yeah, because I knew I could get it.
Now, Mac, if you had to go to prison, what length of sentence would you choose?
What kind of prison?
Medium?
He didn't ask what charges.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have good food or bad food.
No, you can pick your crime. I want to know how long you'd like to be in jail for.
10 to 20.
Right, because I feel like if you're there for a year, you don't get to get comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
don't
like
get
being
into
in a
prison.
Ringling Brothers. You got to do that second year because the other route's
Right.
entirely different.
When you see guys that have been in prison forever, they have like friends and stuff.
Yeah.
People write you letters.
What'd you say?
The people write you letters.
Strangers.
Yeah, exactly.
Strangers.
Did you?
They're not going to give you a conjugal visit if you're there for a week,
Right.
right? I mean, if you want that, you got to stick around.
Was it you, Tommy? What did you laugh most? We had a big shindig at the house last night. And what did you laugh most about?
Oh, Jesus.
This morning he told me, he said, I said, man, that was fun last night. Hanging out with everybody. He said, the hardest I've laughed in a year and a half is at.
Jacob suggested that we play a game, and then Pat said, "Sure. What about hide and seek?"
Jacob, you go high.
We were weeping laughing.
Yeah.
The game is go away.
Yeah. We were all laughing. He was weeping.
All I said was, you go hide, we'll count to 60 minutes. But I didn't realize, I didn't know this crew as well as I do today, and how much I had struck a nerve.
Right.
How much they wanted that. I can do it now.
No, you're good company. Who's going to cut all the stuff out? You're very important. This is post-pandemic fun, right?
Right.
Because, 15 months of whatever it is, right? Your shelter-in, staycation resort life that is being in your house and reading and reevaluating and all that. But it really comes down to gathering, right? Being around friends and doing, like that dinner last night was fantastic. And, seeing each other's show, I heard you describing about that. And we really, who would have ever imagined that all going off the table? To there being a thing like, hey, no Thanksgivings.
Yeah.
What? Like, what kind of evil warlord?
Right. Yeah.
And that was some people's reaction to it.
Yeah.
Rather than going, wow, it's a virus, they're going, evil warlord.
Right. Yeah, I just think it's fantastic that for whatever reasons, I mean, I'm not going to be political about it, but just the idea that hopefully humanity has a memory long enough to realize we need each other, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to get to a sort of preachy level.
Yeah, I don't think we have to all watch video. Like, I had to watch video of myself to remind me of my act. But I don't believe we're all going to have to watch video about how to behave at Thanksgiving.
No, but we know to hit each other.
Right.
Oh, because the only video we have is of us behaving badly at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
No,
Last night there was a piñata. How often do you get a piñata full of Vienna
These guys
sausages?
we sort of had a little toast for my signing the deal at Excalibur, and these guys were kind enough to bring a piñata, and I whacked it open, and out tumbled cans of
Vienna chicken
sausages. The traditional piñata stuff.
That's true. It was like 6 cans of Vienna chicken sausage and 1 can of fish steaks. Oily herring, right? Herring. Which one's the bird? Which one's the fish?
Heron is a bird, herring is a fish.
Okay. And what's the stuff on your head?
Hair.
Okay. It's very confusing.
Hairline.
That's really what I wanted to gather us to talk about today.
Yeah. It was just, it was a delightful evening. Thank you. This is a delightful hour and something. Thank you so much.
And do you end by saying, please don't look away, or what's the name of the show?
This is Pat Hazell. Please watch his podcast, Creative In Captivity. Captivity is creative, as I believe. Search for it on where you get your podcasts.
Right.
Thank you, Pat. And it's Creativity In Captivity. This is Don't Everybody Leave. As we do every week, we close with a quote from our pal George Clinton. I'm a soldier in the army of Uncle Jam. Come on out and work at crap.
Oh, we're leaving that in.
I can't even get out of the shot. I'd rather be in it.
I'm a soldier in the army of Uncle Jam. Come on and work out in that foxhole.
Got it!
See you next week. Don't everybody leave. Thanks a bunch.
Bang! Give us out!
Howdy, I'm Matt King. Thanks for watching Don't Everybody Leave with me and my pals. If enough of you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications, maybe we could get Steve Martin on to talk about his book. Do it.